This is Tales and Whispers, where every story is felt, not just heard.
You know, every now and then you hear a story that just stops you in your tracks. This is one of them. It's an incredible story about wealth, love, and what really matters, and it forces us to take a hard look at our own snap judgments. Wow, that's a really tough way to introduce someone, isn't it? The story starts right there with this incredibly jarring description, and it's on purpose. It's designed to make us a little uncomfortable, to immediately show us how people judged her just by looking at her. And believe me, this whole idea of appearance versus reality, it's the absolute core of this entire story. Okay, so let's set the scene. Picture a lawyer's office. You know the vibe. Quiet, professional, maybe a little stuffy, total calm. Well, her arrival just completely shatters that. The whole atmosphere shifts, and suddenly everything is tense and, well, really unsettling. Can you just imagine how quiet it must have gotten? The men in the office, they just leave. One by one, they find an excuse and walk out. The only person left is this young woman, a lawyer, and she's so freaked out by this visitor's appearance she can't even look at her. You can just feel how alone this woman is right from the get-go. So you're probably wondering, how did she end up here? What's her story? Well, to really get a handle on the incredible decision she's about to make, we have to rewind and look at the life that led her to this exact moment. Her whole life, honestly, was one long story of rejection. People judged her purely on her appearance and treated her like an outcast. I mean, can you imagine getting to be 40 years old and never having known a real partnership or even just simple affection, just completely alone? And then, out of the blue, an offer comes along. But let's be clear, this was no love story. It was a business deal, plain and simple. The terms were just brutal. 1, marry this widower with 4 kids. 2, you're basically their caretaker. And 3, you get to have 0 demands as a wife. For her, though, this was her only way out of a lonely life. Now, faced with a situation like that, you'd think she'd be bitter, right? Maybe resentful? I mean, who wouldn't be? But she didn't go down that road. Instead, she made a totally different choice. She decided she was going to pour every single ounce of herself into caring for this family. And it's amazing what happened. What started out as basically a job, a role of service, it blossomed. Over the years, through her pure devotion, something changed. She wasn't just caring for these kids, she was nurturing them, loving them, and eventually she completely won them over. She became their mother in every sense of the word. Think about it. She gave these children the one thing she'd never really had herself, unconditional love. She just showered them with affection. And by doing that, she didn't just fill a hole in their lives, she filled one in her own, too. Pretty soon, they stopped seeing her appearance at all. They just saw her heart, and they loved her for it. All right, so after all these years of just giving and giving, the story takes a really unexpected turn. Her life started changing in ways she absolutely could not have seen coming. So remember that cold, practical arrangement she walked into? Well, get this. As the years went by, her husband's business took off, and he became a really wealthy man. But something else happened. He started to see her true worth. He saw the incredible love she gave his kids, and he fell in love with her. That loveless deal, it turned into a real, genuine marriage. Then, sadly, her husband passed away. But before he did, he made a will. And here's the amazing part. With the full, enthusiastic support of all 4 children, he left her everything. His entire estate. We're talking millions of dollars in real estate. This woman, who started with literally nothing, now appeared to have it all. And that brings us right back to where we started, back in that lawyer's office. This is the moment of truth. So why is she there? What on earth is she planning to do with all this newfound wealth? She looks at the young lawyer and says she wants to return their property to them. Can you just imagine the silence in that office? The shock? With just one sentence, she's about to sign away a fortune. She wants to give every last penny back to the children she raised. And the young lawyer, the one who was scared of her at first, she's just completely floored. She's in awe. She can't wrap her head around this kind of generosity. So she asks a really practical question, the same question any of us would probably ask. Isn't it better to keep at least a house, just in case? Her answer, this is the heart of the whole story. No, she says, the love of the children is enough for me. For her, the money was never the prize. It was never the point. The love, that was the reward. The millions, just stuff, easily given away. But the love, that was everything. And right there, in that one decision, we see the real message of this story. It's all about where real beauty, real value truly lies. This was what she truly believed, deep down. Her faith wasn't in a bank account or a deed to a house. It was in love. She had this absolute trust that the same force that brought her love after a lifetime of loneliness would take care of her. That love was all the security she'd ever need.
There's this old proverb that just fits so perfectly here. Not every beautiful woman is good, but every good woman is beautiful. And this story really hammers that home, doesn't it? It challenges us to look past what's on the surface. True beauty isn't about what you see with your eyes. It's about what you feel from a person's heart, from their character.
And maybe that's the ultimate takeaway. For man looks at the eyes, but God looks at the heart. It draws such a clear line between how we humans tend to judge, so superficially, and a much deeper way of seeing, a way that understands what's really inside a person's soul.
So that's the question this story leaves us with, and it's a big one. What is the true measure of a person? Really, is it what they look like, how much money they have in the bank, or is it the love they're willing to give without ever expecting anything back?